What motivates and drives me is my family, because I feel like without them, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. And it's almost like I have to be just as good as them to the world and just like as honorable as them, so to speak, like just to have an impact, because my dad and my mom have been like great people to the city of New Orleans as well as like Mississippi and everywhere that they've lived. Like my dad's well-traveled, my mom's well-traveled, and like my goal is to expand upon what they've done and become a bigger and better person. Like my brother played in the league. I just feel like me and my brother are great examples of like, you know, taking what you learned in young adulthood and like just moving and pushing and pushing. So my family definitely motivates me to be better because they're the greatest I've seen. The most messed up part about Katrina to me is like where my parents were divorced, or my parents still are divorced, but my dad lived right next to Old Metairie, which is like historically a richer white neighborhood, you know what I mean? This is like old money. I'm talking about like Halliburton money, you know what I'm saying? 2 days after Katrina, when we were, you know, when they were showing the cameras again, like in all the different parts on the news channels, on the various news channels, like right after Kanye West's like rant and whatnot. It was funny because they came across my dad's neighborhood, which is really divided by like a little canal from the haves and the have-nots. Like we stayed on the have-not side. When they went over to the Old Metairie, like with the haves, like there was no flooding. And then right across from the canal, it's feet of water. You know what I mean? Like 4 or 5 feet of water. And like we're right next to them. We're separated by a football field. You know what I mean? It was crazy to me. Like, and they didn't talk about that because, of course, they're not going to cover that because they're trying to show us. I feel like that, you know, we were better off, you know, evacuating, and like a lot of people couldn't evacuate. And it was just a situation where they looked out for their own and they didn't really look out for us, you know, so.
Every time he passes the weed back, it's wet. Oh, the weed's wet every time. Like, no, matter of fact, not every time because he tries not to. I feel like, not to, so it's not every time, but then there's times.
By the time I was on the plane, they were asking me to leave. It just all started coming back to me the next day when Ivan was telling me how I was trying to talk to the pilot while I was on the plane. I was trying to convince the stewardess that I was totally fine.
And then when we go to the justice system for help, and we looking for them to change these laws and to give us some type of justice, it's not happening. So every time it's just another blow.
At the root of a lot of problems is a lack of love. There's a lack of God's love. There's a lack of brotherly love. There's a lack of respect. So take that message and package it up into this music, put it over this beat.